Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, gentlemen, for another round of talks of our daily uh, denim talks. What we have been doing for last couple of months during this crisis. But today's topic is a bit different. In the talk today, I try to explore whether on-demand manufacturing is becoming an important requirement of the industry, and whether it is possible to at all cater to this demand. My guest today is Andrea Monti, who is manager and consultant at SEI Laser Italy. SEI Laser is an Italy-based company born in the 80s with laser applications in a number of fields, which I think he will tell himself. So may I welcome Andrea for the talks?
Thank you very much, Sandeep. I'm really glad to be here and join you with this beautiful audience in this very welcome, friendly chat between professionals.
Thank you, Andrea. Most welcome. And as we all know, we are going through a big crisis, and we have to change our way of working. We have to adjust. We have to adapt. We have to come out with new solutions. So first of all, I'll ask you about Italy. We see that Italy is improving a lot, and things are changing out there. What is the current situation in Italy?
Oh, yes. I mean, positive news, I would say, at least partially positive. You know that we all know that our country, after China, has been the first to be hit, and it has been badly hit. Actually, our company is really in the area which has been most hit by the COVID-19.
Lombardy?
Yeah, we're in the deep of Lombard, basically. And, we are now facing an evolution in the situation, which was very bad at the beginning, but now we have a sensible reduction of new cases. There's much lesser deaths every day compared to previous periods. And that led our government to ease the very tight lockdown, which was at the very beginning, started in order to face this exceptional and terrible situation, of course. On our side, as a company, as a SEI Laser, somehow we have been, how can I say, lucky, because we are laser experts and we work in several different fields. It means that it's not just a textile or denim for us, but we work a lot in other applications. Some of these applications deal with the world of medicines, so blisters, for instance, for the industrial medicines, or laser cutting machines for plastic gear that it is used for protection nowadays against COVID. So we really never ended our production. And even now, I mean, that we're back to 100% of production.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, we had just the employees who were working in smart working from home, but now we're back to office. Okay, obviously, we follow all the protections and the indications from our government. We do have face masks, of course. I'm not wearing it now because I'm alone in my office. But I mean, the situation is really getting better. And the industries have already started to recover, of course, step by step.
And do you see people going out starting their normal visitations outside their homes and going to the markets and all soon?
Put it this way, we're in the middle of that. I mean, the government is discussing the reopening now, the next reopenings of restaurants and bars and hairdressers. I mean, a lot of people, including me, they need to go to a hairdresser. But, all the rest
We
of
get a
activity,
home cut. I got a home cut from my daughter, so that's the solution we have to find.
I will not risk that with my kids, But, well, I mean, we are heading to normality. I think that the last social gatherings that are going to be open, that will be, second homes, will be football matches. theaters, cinemas. There will be some social distancing for a while, okay? I think this is necessary. Because in any case, this social distancing that we have in this period, these protections, that care that overall we have tried to take overall around the country, led us to have this dramatic reduction in new cases. And of course, in the meantime, there is a much better idea on what are the possible cures and how to approach a virus which till yesterday was completely unknown.
Yeah, this safety precautions have to be there. That's the only way. We have to live with the virus. There's no other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coming to our topic of today's discussion, on-demand manufacturing. So there have been a lot of interpretations about this, a lot of also talk about it. What is your definition? Because people define it differently. What is your definition of on-demand manufacturing?
Oh, yeah, true, absolutely. There has been a lot of talking regarding that. So let me take you back to the future. I will tell you a story. I will tell our audience a story. A couple of years ago, we were approached by e-commerce companies. Let's say the e-commerce giants, okay? Name the three ones, the most important ones, and they got in touch with us. Why? They knew we were laser experts, and they came with a very interesting question. Basically, they said, well, Andrea, look, we have a problem, or at least we feel we have a problem. Our usual supply chain has timings and volumes that for us are difficult to cope with. Our customers who are the consumers, basically they see something on the web, they like it, they click on it, they pay it, and then in 3 days maximum, they want to receive that at home. Now with the usual supply chain, we have to work a lot in advance with that, and we have to book quantities, make trials. We're never 100% sure what is going to be received, etc. And we have to make lots of samples, and it takes a lot of time for transportation by ship from manufacturers to other locations, massive quantities, and so on. We don't want that anymore. So basically, we ask them, what would you like then? Well, we wanted to receive, basically, that our customers, the consumers, will receive a ready-made garment made to their taste, personalized, possibly, and maybe with his specific size of the garment in 3 days from the order. You can imagine our first answer was, okay, forget it, it's impossible. Thank you, bye-bye. Then they came back and they said that again. And for the second time, we said, okay, it's impossible, forget it. Then they came a third time. And at the third time, our team sat down and we said, hey, look, we have to change the angle of view of this thing. We have to think that this is possible. Simply, we have to face, we have to understand what do we need to make it actually possible, every single step. And in a way, we were lucky because of our history. This company is a company of engineers, of laser experts, who has been working with lasers for over 30 years. In every possible application or field. Name a material, and we produce the machines to cut it or to engrave it, etc. Stone, paper, glass, metal, whatever, textile, of course. And, we realized that from a hardware point of view, we already had the solution in our hands coming from a completely different field, which had nothing to do with textiles, but it was a very massive, solid, reliable hardware. So our technicians, our engineers, they said, hey, look, we need to adapt, we need to improve, we need to enhance the capacities of this machine and adapt them to what? To the customer needs. And then we started talking to customers, to brands, to garment makers, and asking them, what do you exactly need? And, a lot of questions came out, a lot of interesting things. And finally, we made this innovative product that will be on the market now. Actually, it's a system that starts working from the fabric, and basically you get at the end all the pieces of blue jeans, in this case, made through laser engraving, cutting at the same time, and with a robot solution that will pile all the pieces up so that they can reach the stitching lines. The interesting thing is that we can basically skip most, if not 100%, of the usual laundry operations. So there is very little water consumption, is only at the end for a normal wash, and basically no chemicals. So a dramatic dramatic improvement towards eco-sustainability, and to shorten up the supply chain. Now, the interesting thing is that the concept of these systems, we heard what customers were asking, is that it can be placed anywhere. It doesn't need, air conditioning or special rooms or whatever. You can put it in the desert. You could put it in the middle of a city. And in fact, our first installations are going into Los Angeles. They will be fully operational, I believe, by the end of the year, thanks to an agreement with one of our customers, which actually is a South Asian company, which has opened these branches in the United States for this on-demand, fast, quick manufacturing of blue jeans. So what was impossible at the beginning, it became possible.
So what is the total lead time? Like, let's say from a time the order is placed by a customer, the fabric, the time and everything put together, how much time it should take to complete the garment?
This is amazing, because actually by hearing what customers were needing, we have improved not just the hardware part, but also the software part. Now we are entering a phase in the next future where we have to ease the relationship between the designers, the brands, their specific needs, and the garment makers. So we have embedded 3D software that we have developed ourselves, because originally this company was a company of software at the very, very beginning. And the interesting thing is that this software is capable of working 2D and 3D. So it means that a designer can send to the company that has the machine its own layout, 2D or 3D. The machine will absorb it, will transfer all the design on a 3D model. You can work actually on that 3D model on the machine. No need to go to Photoshop or other softwares or whatsoever. You do it there in real time at the moment. And once you're satisfied with the garment, you ask your customer, do you like it? If they say yes, you push the button, and then the machine will automatically transform that again into a 2D layer, but optimizing immediately every possible size that you have put inside. And it will do automatically the nesting for the cutting, because actually this particular laser solution, it does the marking, so the design, and the cutting at the same time. So let's say that a complicated garment will take a minute and a half, 2 minutes approx, to be done by the machine, then picked up and sent to stitching lines. That allows, to, depending on the design, of course, that to have from hundreds to 1,000 garments per day. And so basically you can achieve the result of sending them to the final consumer within the famous 2 or 3 days or whatsoever, by using a local DHL or UPS or whatever delivery is available, because it's just the time of stitching, a home wash, and then you send it. So it's a little miracle that comes through. And
But the
actually, the final out is very nice.
but the fabric has to be there, no? Because if the fabric has to be available,
Of
that is
course,
a prerequisite.
of course. You can work on with standard fabrics. You can work with special fabrics. Now, the interesting thing is that I mean, when we thought of textiles, with all the respect for denim that we love, we're denim lovers. Denim is a part of textiles. So with this system, you can work also other fabrics. You can work 100% cotton fabrics. You can work artificial fabrics. You can work even on TPU, and you can even make shoes if you want, or accessories, depending on your final market. From that point of view, there is no limit, I would say.
So that's quite flexible.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's a disrupting technology, and we think that, you know, I would really speak of close to the customer manufacturing.
So do you see this? Let's say if this model is successful, and there's a lot of productions. Let's say in US, people want to do it close to their cities. You know, they want to make the production in their country itself in different places. So how does it? You know, how do you balance the production which is going on in other countries in Asia and in
Yeah, yeah.
Turkey, other places?
This is an important question, Sandeep, because, you know, I think there is a misuse of a word called reshoring. I would say, instead of reshoring, proximity manufacturing, because, you know, reshoring, there is something lying below it that makes you assume that this technology is against the traditional technology, you know, or not at all. I mean, this technology is for service, is for giving solutions to customers. In fact, here at SEI Laser, we say we don't sell machines, we sell laser solutions, because we need to understand what customers really want. And, you know, in this case, this technology goes hand in hand together with the traditional production, because mass production will always be there. Mass production will increase even in the future. Obviously, it will have to be more eco-sustainable. It will have to be rethink sometimes in a way with more attention to certain areas. But this new high tech is not a revolution, is an evolution. It's something that it's positive. It will lead most probably exactly the same players who are doing the blue jeans nowadays to make them not only in the country where they have their mother company, but also in other countries as well, in order to give the local quick support to that fast fashion or fast production that is needed. Now, I'm not saying that there will be no new incomers. I mean, but this is also good news. Obviously, there will be, you know, some new brands, some small companies that they cannot afford big productions, that they will seek for solutions like that in order to be close to their customers and give them the service that they want. And, you know, get paid for that. Because all these adds value to the value chain. We are all in the industry, and industry needs to make profit at the end. So this is something that it will lead to profit for special thing, and it will it will pull the traditional production, because any company everywhere around the world that is capable to give answers, the good answers to their customer specific needs, is a winner.
Absolutely, it's all about solutions and innovative solutions. What we can give to the customers. So you feel that these are two complementary things. They don't need to compete with each other. Basically, they are supplementing each other and complementing each other to bring better solutions to the customer.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You know, this nearshoring or proximity manufacturing has also some other positive, very positive points, you know, because this will create also new jobs. This will finally give back profit to many companies, you know, help at least to give back profit to many companies. If we have to say what are the main problems that many traditional companies are facing nowadays, is that most probably the actual supply chain is too slow. It takes too much time. And time is essential nowadays. And there is also a lot of waste. I mean, just think of the amount of garments which are wasted every year. You know, either brands that dig a hole in the ground and then they put earth on them, or they burn them, which is absolutely absurd. You know, the main point is changing the business model or adapt to changes which in any case are forced or will be partially forced by this situation, and that will lead to evolution. The first word that we should all of us bear in mind is no more waste. No more waste means saving money, saving time, giving new opportunities, new jobs. Just think, for instance, the impact of technology and the impact of digital technology. We're fully into that, okay? Some say this is the future. No, it's now. It's already happening. I mean, with the advent of these 3D softwares, for instance, and as I said, we have put our own 3D software on the machine that works 2D and 3D, etc., with in real time with a real laser. Just think of the fact that usually when the designers make new collections, only 15% of that is accepted by the final customer, by the brand. All the rest, the 85% is rejected. Now, when you adopt 3D modeling and you are able to communicate immediately with the counterpart on the other side of the world, and you can send it to them immediately, directly, online, you can show them how the garment will be. And you can send to them in 2 days the physical final garment, exactly as they have seen it on the screen. The rejections, they drop, because you are already doing something which is exactly close to what the customer was looking for. We all know that a new sample, the cost of it is between $1,500, $2,000. So just imagine how much money already you save at that very first step. And then, you know, the usual procedure to make new samples usually takes ages, 20, 25, 30 days. Now this is a matter of hours. You can have it in real time. It's just the time zone difference. You play with that and it happens. It happens there, it happens now, which makes an incredible difference. Obviously, this opens the path to new jobs. I mean, for sure, there will be a lack, you know, of specific, technically prepared designers. But we're not talking of rocket science. This is something that even normal people can learn.
Can be done, yeah.
And because it has to be simple, you know. If it is simple, it works.
Absolutely. Well, I think this is very important. Coming from the consumer perspective, you know, you mentioned, of course, time is very important. They're looking for faster speeds. The retailers are all looking for speed, personalization, timely deliveries. And apart from this, what other changes in consumer preferences do you see coming up?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a question that is spanning all around, you know, because everybody is trying to have a sort of crystal ball to answer to that. Having said that, you know, apart from probably a first step of the revenge buying at the very beginning, where people will be so happy to finally, they can get out into shops and buy something new and show it, etc. But I think that there will be other motivations in the next future that came with this period, and most probably they're here to stay. We have all been talking regarding sustainability during these years, and nowadays it becomes even more important than before. So consumers, well, they will be back to shops, but at the same time, e-commerce and home delivery have become normality, standard, you know, and even the necessity of smart working and e-learning has suddenly improved, the workers, the people's perception towards the integration of digital and the real world. So we really now understand it's feasible, it works, and it gives advantages. So that I think there will be an evolution that will add to the usual models of creations, manufacturing, and delivery. Something very, very interesting. One of the things that I think consumers will like in the next future, and companies like us, but even brands, everybody, is that we should seek for interaction with the final customer. What does it mean? The real meaning of customization. Listen, it means play together with customer, involve them, engage them. Just think that there are areas which were not even explored till yesterday in marketing and in garment making. I'll just make an example, something that I've seen during these days, which is pretty interesting. Virtual garments. Oh, what is that? I don't know how you or our audience is familiar with video games, but there's already in some of the most common popular video games, there is already interaction between brands, between marketing, garment making, and the games themselves. Making examples. In the video game Sims 4, there is a Moschino collection that you can buy. And actually, it's a copy of the real garments that you can buy in shops. I don't know if you're familiar with a video game called Fortnite. My kids play it Fortnite. Now, on Fortnite, recently, there has been a concert, a virtual concert, because obviously normal concerts are not allowed nowadays, but there has been a virtual concert by a famous rapper, okay? Can't remember the name. This is for kids, but it's famous rapper. And obviously it was his avatar running the show with his voice, but running the show inside the game. And inside the game, the avatar of this famous guy was wearing shoes which were sponsored by a famous brand. And these shoes are available for real. Now, do you know what was the audience of that? 12 million people. 12 million people watching and loving online advertising. And what you see there, it's something that you can manufacture for real, and that you can do for real, and that you can personalize for real by putting your name, by changing the colors and whatever. So it really opens a new world also for consumers. It means that consumers that will always buy depending on their spending capability, of course, depending on their age, depending on their geography, on their taste, everything that we know, but they will be keeping both levels, this new level and the traditional level. On top of that, I would like to remember to all of us in an optimistic way of thinking that the world population is growing, is still growing, and it will grow. I mean, in the last 100 years, it has been growing much more than for millenniums. I mean, at the beginning of the last century, there was 1 billion people in the world, and nowadays we're almost 8 billion. So it will grow up, and all these people, they will need clothes, and they will need blue jeans, of course. Now, I'm not saying that there will be all luxury. Of course, there will be every possible level of buying, but it will increase in any case in terms of numbers. And by using all the modern means, all these population of consumers will want things fast, beautiful, at a reasonable price, and so on. One last point that is this, is a personal reflection. I would like to spend 2 words regarding compassion, understanding, solidarity. Why? There has been a lot of talking during these days because when the COVID spread around the world, some brands panicked and they canceled orders, suddenly creating problems to the whole supply chain. Somehow this was expected, but problems are there. On the other side, there are others who didn't cancel the orders, but they tried to reduce the cost or the prices of the garments. And then there are others who kept their commitments. And I think that somehow in the next future, the consumers will, hopefully, they will reward, all those brands and manufacturers who have been showing, as I have said, fairness, commitment, understanding, solidarity, compassion. I think this is another important thing that we will all have to.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. And also your example of virtual presentation of garments in a show, I think it's a very real life example of how we can reach out to customers, very large base of customers, and get their reactions on those products and quickly respond to that. So that's a wonderful example, I would say. And of course, compassion is so important today. And I'm really not very sure, how much consumers will remember after 1 year what the brands have done. Some of these have done. I am not really very sure about it, but if they do remember, it's very good, because uh, we need to reward people who are fair, who are with their customers, who support their supply chain, who support their employees. So I mean, there has to be reward for fairness, for sure.
Yes, I think so. And I would like, to also send to you and to your audience a positive message. Because, okay, we are all facing a very difficult, tough situation. And we in Italy, we have been experiencing, and we're still experiencing it, in a very hard way somehow. But, when things get difficult, usually they put challenges, and the human brain, mankind, finds solutions for that, is pushed to find solutions. So I would like to mention some words. What this current situation has of positive. Resiliency, of course. I mean, thank God we are all into a very resilient industry, which is the denim industry that exists since 150 years. And it has been proven to be resilient. And it will be resilient. It will resist and it will live. Expansion, because, the market is still expanding because of that growth of population that I mentioned before. I would say inception of new technology and the solutions, opening of new markets, new opportunities, new jobs, increase in the number of pieces manufactured in garments. It will not happen immediately, but it will happen through this value chain that will get better and better. Opportunities, because this is becoming a moment of opportunities, is the dawn of a high-tech, how can I say, digital evolution in the garment industry that will create new opportunities, new jobs. And finally, I would say sharing. And sharing, honestly, I have to public thank you for the excellent work that you're doing, Sandeep, because with sharing all these communications, all these know-how, this point of views in our industry, we are doing an extremely precious work for the community, for all of us. You're doing a tremendous, great job. I would like to thank you from the deep of the heart. And saying that, I would just add that, all these words I told you, resilience, expansion, inception, opening, and so on, they're all positive words. Let's look with confidence to the future, even if it's tough. We are in the tunnel, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm pretty sure that soon, hopefully soon, bright days will be back again.
Thank you, Andrea. This is a wonderfully positive note, closing note you have given. We don't need to be demotivated by this situation currently what we have, and the keywords what you have given are very, very crucial, I think, and we need to be positive about the future. We will recover our business, our lives, let's say in a couple of months, or maybe let's say in a year or something. We should be back to normal, and we'll probably come out much better as a human race. Probably we might come out much better, do much better, and do take care of our mother earth and our people in a much better way, in a much more positive way.
Yes, we all hope that, and we are all aiming for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and coming here. Thank you so much.
Ciao.